What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be working on the E36 M3, as you can tell from the title of this video. So I believe this is going to be part 7 of the series. Today is the big day. We're finally going to be putting the engine and transmission back into the car and hopefully getting it started. So we got my brother Arman over there. He's setting up the pressure washer because we got to get this car off of these jack stands and then outside so we can pressure wash this engine bay. We have to degrease and pressure wash this engine bay because it is filthy. It is dirty as shit. So we're hopefully gonna get this thing all cleaned up before throwing the engine and tranny back in there. So yeah, let's go ahead and drop this car off these jack stands and then get it pushed out so we could get this thing cleaned up. Alright guys, Arman got this engine bay all washed up now. It's looking way cleaner than before. Now I think it's time for us to finally get that engine back in here. So I think we're just gonna throw it in here and then call it a night. Alright guys, shout out to the boys over here. Harach is the one that helped the most. But yeah, we got the engine finally sitting in there and I'll continue this video tomorrow. Alright guys, we're back with day 2 of putting the engine into the car. So yesterday you saw us get this thing finally in there. It's sitting on the subframe, on the engine mounts and everything. Transmission is in its spot too. So now what I actually have to do is I have to get all these wires and everything sorted. I have to get all the coolant lines and stuff hooked up. Well, actually I want to get it started. So I don't really need to get coolant lines hooked up just to get it started, but I gotta at least get all the wiring and stuff sorted out, the ECUs and stuff plugged back in because the ECUs are out of there. But yeah, I just got to get all the power wires, ground wires, everything sorted out and then get it started. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. Alright guys, I went ahead and got the engine all wired up, the ECUs all back together. I threw the ground straps on the engine and hooked up all the positive wires. So now in order to start it, I just need to throw some oil into the engine. I'm not going to put any coolant lines or anything like that on it because I'm only going to start it for just a little bit just to check and make sure everything is okay. And then I'll move ahead with everything. So right now I'm going to go ahead and throw some fresh oil in there with the brand new filter. Alright guys, I think it's time to start it. So Arman's gonna go ahead and try to get it started for us. Yeah, I think the battery's too dead. It wants to start. Yeah, it's not enough power. Yeah, it's the battery. Alright guys, we're having some technical difficulties right now. We're gonna try to get this battery charged up a bit and then we'll try to start it. First start! Well guys, as you can tell from that last video, the engine was making a really loud squeaking noise. At first we thought it had to do with the crank or something like that, and then as you can tell the transmission is out of the car. I took the transmission out because it sounded like it was actually coming from this area, and what do you know, it actually was. So my dumb mistake was that I put this clutch in backwards. So I had put the clutch in this way with this fat part sticking towards the transmission when it should have been this way. So since I put it this way, the clutch ended up hitting this piece right here and it was just grinding against it and making a loud squealing noise. You guys can't tell in the video, but it's like grinded down a bit, and it's actually not letting this throwout bearing come outside because it like made a lip on it, like a groove on it. It grinded it down so much. But the good news is there's no internal engine damage. It's just a stupid little clutch issue, backwards clutch issue, which happens all the freaking time. Unfortunately, these damn clutches don't come marked whether it's forwards or backwards, so all I gotta do is pop these off real quick and then grind this down a bit just so that lip goes away, and then I can finally throw everything back in place. I didn't even record taking the transmission out or anything like that, but I'll probably record throwing it back in. But let me go ahead and fix that real quick and then get this transmission back into the car. Well guys, I ran into another little issue. So I realized that this seal right here is leaking as well. I didn't see that before when I had the tranny out, but I'm gonna go ahead and order this seal. It's only gonna take a couple days to get here, but I'd rather just change it just for peace of mind, just so it won't leak anymore. As you can tell, it had leaked down here. I had cleaned it up, but you can clearly tell that shaft seal is leaking. So I won't be putting this thing back together today. We'll wait till that comes in, and then we'll get this thing back together and back in the car, and hopefully we'll drive it then. Alright guys, today is a new day. I went ahead and picked up a new transmission input shaft seal. It looks a little bit different from that one because it's a different brand, but it'll do just fine. It's gonna fit perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this out real quick, throw these transmission parts back on there, and then I gotta lift the car back up so I can throw the clutch back on there and so I can throw the transmission back on there. Hopefully I can get this back in there by myself. It's gonna be a little tough, but I think I can do it. So let's get all this sorted out and hopefully start the car again and maybe get to drive it later on. Alright guys, after a lot of struggle, I finally got this transmission back into the car. Man, that was a pain in the ass. But at least I got it in there. It would have been way easier if I had someone to help me, but I don't. So now I think it's time for me to finally try to start the car again. Let's go. As you guys just heard, it runs and there was no screeching noise like last time. Thank God everything is good. Alright, so now I want to get this drive lane on there and also the cross member right there, which is supposed to hold the transmission up. I was just using the jack just to hold it up so it will be level. I'm gonna go ahead and throw all of that on there. Alright guys, I got the drive line back on there, I got the cross member on there, all the shifter linkages are all connected back up there, and I also went ahead and just threw the exhaust on with brand new gaskets as well. So basically I am done from under the car, so everything is done from under here. I'm still going to keep it on the jack stands because I still have to bleed the clutch and I have to do that from under the car, but for now I'm done from the bottom of it. So now I can move ahead and get this throttle cable back onto there and then put the serpentine belt back on there, the water pump pulley. I could throw all the hoses back on, and also the cooling system like the radiator and stuff can go back on there.
Let me show you something.
Alright guys, so I got everything back on. Well, everything besides like the intake box, because that's really not that important right now. But I got the car running and everything, but we have a big problem. So let me go ahead and start it, and hopefully you guys can probably catch it on camera. The car starts up fine and idles perfectly, but we have a little issue. So we have some lifter tick up top, which is pretty common with these engines. The lifters just get like stuck and stuff, and they just start ticking over time. But another issue that I'm having is ticking that's coming from the bottom of the engine. So I don't know how well you guys can catch that on camera. Let me go ahead and shut it off. So basically the car runs, but it's not running like it should. It idles good, like I said. We got a little bit of lifter tick, but that's fine. That should go away when we drive the car a little bit more. But the main issue is we got some rod bearing noise from the bottom. So it doesn't sound like rod knock, like bad rod knock or anything like that. It's just a slight tick, which leads me to believe that it's just the rod bearings on their way out. The car does have a lot of miles on it. It has 230,000 miles on it, and I highly doubt that the rod bearings have even been messed with. So yeah, it's unfortunate news, but I'm gonna hopefully get it fixed. It's not gonna be in this video. It's gonna be in the next video because it's gonna be a pretty big job. So yeah, we'll basically take care of that in the next video. I really wanted to drive it in this video, but I couldn't because I don't really want to damage those bearings any more than that. So I'm really not trying to run the engine too much, but we will deal with that in the next video. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. The clutch and everything works fine now. That's a good sign that the manual swap worked. I put the car in gear, goes forward, goes back. I bled the slave cylinder, bled everything. So everything is good to go, but we just have that one issue to deal with. So that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, make sure to hit that like button. Comment down below what you guys think about this build, and also subscribe if you haven't. I got a lot more content coming soon, so that would mean the world to me if you guys just hit that subscribe button and maybe that bell notification below. But without further ado, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.